Well, there isn't much time remaining for the Golden State Warriors to figure this road thing out. Game one of a 5-game set does not go as planned. We're going to break down what went wrong. Some things went right. Steve Kerr is encouraged by the effort, by the output. We're going to play sound from him and try to figure out what he was happy about. But the Warriors are 0-1 on the road, and they squander another 50-plus point performance from Steph and Curry. We'll break it all down next. This is Locked On Warriors.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by Ultimate Basketball GM. Ever dreamed of becoming an NBA GM and managing your basketball franchise? Then this game is definitely for you. To download the game, just visit ultimatebasketballgm.com or look it up on the app stores. Our listeners get a 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo code Locked On, all caps. Again, use the promo code Locked On in all caps in the game. I'm Cyrus Saatsaz. You can follow me on Twitter at DogSurfRojo. The Golden State Warriors still cannot figure things out when it comes to road games. And hello, everyone in the chat. This is a live show tonight. Hello, Rebel the Sounds. Hello, Joe. Some of the regulars, some newbies. Oh, this was brutal. This was frustrating. If you're a member of Dub Nation, I don't know how you can be happy about tonight's performance. I'm going to start things off by playing that sound that I just referenced a moment ago from Steve Kerr. In the postgame presser, Kerr was not frustrated. Kerr found some positives in this game. And you know what? In all honesty, I haven't heard this clip yet. But I can understand where Kerr's coming from. I don't think the Warriors lost this game entirely because of a lack of effort. And that's been a huge problem for them all season. The fire has just not been lit underneath their asses, plain and simple. They had effort tonight. Stephen Curry was on fire. Again, I'm going to talk about him in just a moment. But first of all, let's hear from Steve Kerr. This came immediately following the game. And again, Steve's not frustrated by this loss, despite the fact that there are a lot of numbers really telling just how abysmal and how shocking the Warriors' road woes are. But let's start with Steve Kerr. Here's what he had to say.
I'm actually not frustrated. I mean, I loved our effort. Our guys were connected, came out and battled. I thought the Clippers played a great game. You know, they had 30 assists and 7 turnovers. They shot the lights out from three, made 16 threes. Their offensive rebounding was a huge factor in the game, but that's especially with our roster the way it is right now, with missing a lot of key guys. We're vulnerable on the glass. So I just thought the Clippers played a great game. I love the way our guys played. They hung in there. Steph was just sublime. That was incredible to watch him play tonight. It was a great game. We just came up short.
I don't know what he was referencing in terms of the Warriors having a lot of guys out. Andrew Wiggins being out is huge. I mean, they sorely missed him tonight. As we saw, especially in the postseason last year, he is clutch. Playing inside minutes, despite the fact that he was a guard at Minnesota. He was a guard coming out of the draft from college. In a lot of ways, he's turned into the power forward for the Golden State Warriors. And I don't think he minds it. I mean, he's a basketball junkie. Again, he signed a contract extension for less money simply because he loves playing for this organization. He's happy here. And I really hope whatever's going on with him, first of all, I hope him and his family are okay. And secondly, I really just hope in general that the situation resolves itself. And, I keep hearing Kerr and I keep hearing Bob Myers make references to this being bigger than basketball. And all I can think of is that it's a health issue, possibly with his family. I just hope he's okay. But they were missing him big time tonight. Besides him, I mean, who am I forgetting about that the Warriors were missing, though? I don't know what Kerr was referencing there. I mean, even if he's talking about his two-way players, I mean, obviously Ty Jerome's not going to help with rebounding or the inside. I don't know Anthony Lamb at 6'5", if he was going to do anything. Draymond Green was playing a lot of minutes inside tonight, playing the de facto center role. And even he was getting killed by Zubac. Zubac was eating the Warriors up inside. Finished with 19 points, 16 rebounds, 5 of those offensive. And for some reason, Kerr just kept going to the small ball lineup. He didn't go to Jonathan Kuminga. I can actually look it up right here what the minute mark was that Kuminga came in. But for some reason, Kerr just held off on bringing JaMychal Green in the game in the third quarter. I mean, JaMychal, look, he's not consistent. That's the biggest issue I'm seeing with JaMychal Green right now. He is not bringing you consistency, meaning night after night, you don't know what JaMychal Green you're going to get. But he's 6'9", he's strong, he can play inside. And the Warriors were getting killed inside. And I'm trying to look up the play-by-play right now to see what the minute mark was when Jonathan Kuminga came in. It was at the 1:16 mark of the third quarter. Jonathan Kuminga finally came into the game, and he came in for Draymond Green. So it's not so they just swapped one big for another. The Warriors kept going with this lineup of 3 diminutive guards, and Stephen Curry, Dante DiVincenzo, and Jordan Poole. And the Clippers just looked like a big team out there tonight. They were pushing the Warriors around. They were controlling the paint. And the only player again I could think of that was missing was Andrew Wiggins. Now, granted, look, the Warriors lost this game. The final score was 134-126. They lose this game by 8 points. Can Andrew Wiggins sway a game 8 points? Absolutely. So maybe he was the missing piece in all this. And maybe if Andrew Wiggins is there, they win this game. It is important to note that for the LA Clippers, or not for the LA Clippers, the LA Clippers are very possibly the toughest opponent that the Warriors will face in the postseason if they're going to make a repeat championship run. And the Clippers wanted this game tonight just as badly as the Golden State Warriors did. So you're looking at potentially the 2 best teams, if not in the Western Conference, in the entire NBA, duking it out tonight in a game both teams wanted. So maybe Andrew Wiggins makes the difference. I don't know. I'm just trying to understand what Steve Kerr meant in that attribution there when saying we had a lot of guys out. No, you had Andrew Wiggins out. Okay, look, Andre Iguodala, yes, Iguodala is hurt as well. That news came out today, by the way, and very unfortunate news that Iguodala suffered a fracture in his wrist. He's going to have an operation on it. He has not been ruled out for the season. In theory, given how long the postseason goes, he could come back late in the postseason. So I guess, okay, fine. I guess Kerr is maybe referencing Iguodala as well. But even Iguodala, I mean, he would have helped. Yes, he would have helped. But again, if your concern is size, why not give Kuminga a bigger run? I don't understand why you wait till the 1:16 mark of the third quarter. The Warriors entered the half down only 3. And they had a lot of momentum starting the third quarter. And just like it's been all season, in that third quarter, whereas with nearly every other Warriors team during the dynasty, they've just come out like gangbusters, slaughtering the opposition. I've read the stats repeatedly on this show in terms of third quarter differential, where in all but 2 years, the Warriors were in the top 5 in third quarter differential, even in 2021 when the Warriors were a 500 team. And this team resembles that team a lot. They were 4th in the NBA in third quarter differential, but in the 2020 season, they were really bad. And then this year, the last time I read the stats, they were 20th. And they got outscored again in the third quarter tonight, 38-35. The fact that the Warriors' defense has been a massive issue. They give up 38 third quarter points, 35 fourth quarter points, 33 second quarter points. Clearly, defense is the biggest issue. I want to show you this stat here real quick. I know I'm going all over the road here, but there's just so much to dissect. I want to show this stat that from a graphic that showed on ESPN immediately following the game, which just shows how bad the Warriors defense is right now compared to how they are at home. The discrepancy is record-setting. When the Warriors are at home, they're 29-7. When the Warriors are on the road, they're now 7-27. They have an 8-game winning streak at home. They have a 9-game losing streak on the road. Their defense, which has been the absolute issue on the road this season, particularly their perimeter defense, which again failed them tonight, At home, that defense is fine. They're giving up 111.7 points per game. When they go on the road, that number skyrockets to 124.1. Teams, when they come to Chase Center, are shooting 32.4% from beyond the arc. At anywhere else, not Chase Center, teams are shooting against the Warriors from beyond the three-point line 40.8%. That discrepancy, by the way, of home versus road defense, where at home they're giving up 111.7 points per game, yet on the road they give up 124.1. That discrepancy is the largest discrepancy in the NBA in over 70 years. Meaning, go back to the origins of the NBA. And the question is, and that stat was also read by Scott Van Pelt tonight, and it made me ask the question, do they say over 70 years and not all time because they don't have the stats from the early days? Or was there actually a game in the 1950s where there was a larger discrepancy? Maybe there was. I have no idea. But that's where the Warriors are in terms of the road. It's awful. Amar Singh, I don't know why you're writing this, man. You write Moody freaking terrible. I don't agree with you on that. I don't know why you're hating on Moody so much, man. I thought Moody was actually fine tonight. There was a clip of him offensively where he had this amazing assist to JaMychal Green for dunk +1. Again, Moody's not someone that I don't know if you can judge him statistically in terms of how he's doing, but I'll say this from the stat sheet: when he was out there in the 10 minutes he played, the Warriors were +3. That's second on the team overall. So I don't know how you could say he's terrible, man. Had 2 assists, had 1 trip to the line, scored 1 basket. I thought his defense was fine. I've been soliciting people to start sending me videos of Moses Moody's horrible defense, which a few haters keep saying. I don't see it. I think Moody's fine. 10 minutes is all he played tonight. They could have used more of him. The Warriors were small. Moody at 6'6" with a 7'1" wingspan helps defensively. He stays in front of opposing players. Russell Westbrook, who was destroying the Warriors tonight with offensive rebounds in general, and attacking the paint, it was Moody who shut him down for a bunch of plays. I have no idea where the hell you're coming from with that quote. I have no idea why you're hating on Moody. I do not get that at all. What are you basing that on? That's asinine. Regardless, the Warriors, they got killed. They got killed in a few important categories. I don't think Moody isn't, and by the way, Choboy writes, Moody doesn't suck. Moody isn't good. He's just out there. Again, he's a second-year player at 20 years old who barely plays. What do you want him to do out there? Do you want him to just immediately start shooting threes? Do you want him to be the primary scorer when he's out on the floor with Stephen Curry, with Jordan Poole, with Klay Thompson? Are you saying he should take over a game? Are you out of your mind, folks? For those of you hating on Moses Moody, that's absolutely ridiculous. I don't get the Moody hate. I really don't understand it. When all he does is play 10 minutes and statistically he doesn't show anything that represents a negative. I'm watching him every play defensively. No one's eating him up or blowing by him or scoring on him. I have no idea why you people are hating on Moses Moody. It's ridiculous. Dennis B. Russell Westbrook killed Moody. When? I didn't see that. What that like enough with the stupid opinions from folks about Moody. Come out with something with a measurable. Otherwise, shut the FF up about hating on Moody, man. I'm done with it. All right? This is the perk of me having this show. If you want to hate on Moody, find some other place to hate on him. Why are you hating on him, man? What is your problem? I don't get it. I don't get it, man. This is a pro Moody program. If you don't like it, get the F out. When we come back, though, I have a lot of other stats I got to throw at you because a lot happened in this game that led to the Warriors losing yet another road game. And I'll throw the stats at you in just a second. Real quickly here, after our sponsor, which is Ultimate GM, they got an overlay here. Well, let me find a graphic real quick for Ultimate GM, which is a really fun game. I got a little addicted to it, playing it for a little while, simply because the entire Locked On crew started playing it together. And it's one of those games where if you're a basketball junkie, you're going to get geeked out like I am by our new partner and sponsor of today's episode, the mobile game Ultimate Pro GM. If you've ever just dreamed of being a GM of an NBA team, this is the game for you. You're literally putting your seats in the GM role, your butts in the GM role seats. Sorry if I misspoke there. You're hiring coaches, you're training players. You're making draft picks. And all of this is happening in a challenging and realistic game world. It's fun. It's easy to play. It's fun to play. You could seriously, like Locked On Warriors listeners, here's another cool part to incentivize you to play. Get a 100% free boost to their franchise when using the promo code Locked On in the game store. Again, just use the promo code Locked On. Make sure it's in all caps. So check that out. If you want to download the game, just visit probasketballgm.com. Scan the code that's on the screen if you're watching the show on YouTube. Or you can look it up on the app stores. It's probasketballgm.com, Ultimate Basketball GM in the App Store. Go check it out and start your dynasty today.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. So I'm trying to catch up with the chat here, just seeing. So Dennis B, who's an absolute Moody hater, even though like all you're doing is just spewing opinions. Now your latest Moody hate is that you don't think Moses Moody knows how to block people out. Oh no, so that's a huge difference maker. Dennis B, I've already asked. Enough with the Moody hate. I'm going to put you on a timeout, and if you don't want to be here anymore, so be it, all right? If you're going to hate on a 20-year-old, he's 20 years old, all right? Find someone who can actually legally drink to hate on instead of someone who's playing 10 minutes a night. That is asinine to be hating on him right now. He played 10 minutes, and I'm watching the same game you're watching. I don't see any of the negatives that you're pointing out, none of them. So you're just a effing hater, man. So go find somewhere else to hate Moses Moody on, dude. He's a member of the Golden State Warriors. He was a lottery pick a year ago. He was starting games in the postseason for him. He's 6'6" with a 7'1" wingspan who, if given the opportunity, can help this team. He's a 33% three-point shooter, which is good. The Mendoza line for three-point shooting is 33%. I don't see what you haters are seeing. So find somewhere else to hate on Moses Moody. He's a kid, and he's going to be a damn good NBA player someday. I just feel strongly that he's being mismanaged this year and he needs to actually be given an opportunity. The Warriors were killed tonight. I'll give you these stats. Patrick Baldwin Jr., by the way, would have been nice if we saw his 6'10" height out there a little sooner. But the stat that comes out that really stuck out to me the most in tonight's game was second chance points. All right? And second chance points in a lot of ways represents hustle, represents energy, represents who's out there being aggressive on a more consistent basis. The Clippers won that battle tonight 27-11. Okay? That's a 16-point differential right there. That was huge. The Warriors actually fought in the paint. They tried. They lost the rebounding edge big time. It was 44-36 was the Clippers out-rebounding the Warriors. 44-36. That's all good. So they got out-rebounded by 8. Points in the paint, the Warriors kept it close. It was 50-48. They lost that battle like they do every game, but they kept it close. But they did get out rebounded considerably. Second chance points was brutal again, 27-11. That is what really stuck out to me more than anything else. So, and again, the Warriors were playing a Clippers team that was big. Zubac was eating them up. Again, 30 minutes of play. He was out there. Dude's like 7 feet, 7'1", grabbed 16 rebounds, scored 19 points. I don't understand. Kevon Looney, this looked at times like one of those nights where Looney, where Zubac had his number, but I didn't understand how pulling him helped things any because Looney played 25 minutes. I thought he could have played a little more. Patrick Baldwin Jr., again, 6'10", the tallest guy on the team, played 1 minute, and that was in garbage time. JaMychal Green, who stands 6'9", I thought he could have played a little more. He played 16 minutes tonight. Why not give him 21, 25? I mean, like you're getting killed out there inside. Why not give your bigs more of a run? JaMychal Green, 16 minutes tonight, scored 7 points, grabbed 2 rebounds, did not even have a 3-point attempt, but he's a perfect 2 for 2 from the field. Jonathan Kuminga, thankfully he was playing tonight. I mean, he, at this stage, given the Warriors roster, you can absolutely consider him a big. And again, I don't know why it took until the 1 minute, 16-second mark of the third quarter remaining, meaning 10 minutes and change had already transpired, and he only played 19 minutes. He was 4 for 5 from the field, had 8 points, 2 assists. Yeah, I don't get it. The Warriors were clearly killed on the inside. And I do absolutely agree with Kerr that I like what I saw from the Warriors in terms of effort. I mean, it clearly starts with Steph and Curry, who had an absolutely phenomenal game. But this team needs size. This team needs size, and there is still time. I mean, my partner in this operation 2 days a week, Kylan Mills, she's been bringing up DeMarcus Cousins' name all season. I was bringing up DeMarcus Cousins' name all last season. For those of you who've been watching the show since the very beginnings that I've been hosting it, and he's not coming, unfortunately. Now, but tonight was a little alarming because again, if Wiggins was there, maybe you win that game, maybe, but maybe you don't. And they were just getting pummeled. I mean, Russell Westbrook, for example, kept getting to the glass. And again, I don't understand hating on Moses Moody for not boxing him out when Moody played a total of 10 minutes, and every minute I saw that he played, I thought he covered Russell Westbrook very efficiently, very effectively. Westbrook in this game played 27 minutes, grabbed 9 rebounds, 4 of those offensive. He was a plus 10 out there in the plus minus. Kawhi Leonard played an absolutely phenomenal game, and he's just a damn difficult dude to stop, period. They gave him 36 minutes. He scored 30 points. Paul George played 40 minutes. His length was showing tonight. Paul George is 6'8", 6'9" out there. He had 24 points, 7 assists. This is just a brutal loss. And they just kept the Clippers' depth was showing tonight. They just kept piling on. Eric Gordon, goddamn, man, how many threes was he going to drop? And he was just wide open for so many of them. Like, where is the perimeter defense on this team? That is just a glaring issue. It's really bad. Yeah, Joe, the claw does kill. You're absolutely right. And Ghostface Gangster, you're absolutely right. Nobody wants Boogie. LR, I see your quote. What are you writing? Does everyone notice how Cy can't explain why the Dubs can't win now, even with Ty and Lamb playing? Did you notice the opposition? It's the Clippers, the second best team, maybe the best team in the whole NBA, and they lost by 8. Okay, if the Warriors had given this level of effort against pretty much any other team, they win that game. All right, but you want to shift it all back to Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb? Is that what you want to do? You want and are you so dense and stupid that you're not following what I'm saying about him time and again? My issue with these two-way players, besides the fact that they're not winners, besides the fact that they don't impact the game in a way that results in wins for this Warriors team. We've already experimented with them for 4/5 of this season. Are you still ignorantly not convinced that they don't result in wins? My bigger issue with these two, and a reason why Bob Myers and Joe Lacob are still not giving them guaranteed deals. Funny you don't bark at them for not giving Kerr his amazing two-way players, but they hinder minutes that should be going to JaMychal Green. They hinder minutes that should be going to Moses Moody. They hinder minutes that should be going to Jonathan Kuminga. That is my primary issue with these two guys. They're getting minutes that other players on this roster should be getting instead. All right? And I'm sorry, if Ty Jerome or Anthony Lamb were playing tonight, it's not an 8-game loss. It's an 18-game loss. It might be a 28-game loss. So get the F out of here with that kind of ignorance, man. You're trying to bait me, and congratulations, you got me to talk about those guys for nearly 2 minutes. But and no, Jacob, I'm not talking down. I'm not gonna. You have no right. No, you have no right to dictate how I should be running this show at all. All right, none at all. Like, most programs don't even allow this kind of chat, allow this kind of participation. I'm bitter because the Warriors lost, because the Warriors have some of the worst road numbers in NBA history. They have the biggest discrepancy between home and road in NBA history. And what's your issue again? Yeah, I'm bitter because they lost again, because this is a pivotal 5-game road swing, and they lost, Jacob. They lost. What do you want? You want to stay calm as a team that should be repeating as a world champion, as a team who has Stephen Curry putting up 50 points. This was the second time Stephen Curry this season has put up 50 or more points. The Warriors are 0-2. Oh, and this is why Jacob is a little razzled, because you're another moody hater. You're also someone who wants to crap on a 20-year-old kid who's getting no opportunities but because Steve Kerr doesn't want to play him, you want to be a Kerr apologist. That's your deal. I'm not going to take that level of rhetoric from you, Jacob. I'm sorry, man. That's just not going to fly. All right. And yeah, my belief in troubleshooting, which is what this Warriors team needs to do, is you experiment and try all options. See what works, what doesn't work. Not try the same thing over and over and over again and somehow expect different results when the same thing just keeps happening over and over. This team is awful on the road, yet we're not seeing any changes. We're not seeing any experiments. We're not seeing any edits. We're not seeing any revisions to the rotations or to the lineups. I mean, why did Moses Moody only play 10 minutes tonight? Why did Jonathan Kuminga only play 19 minutes tonight? Why did Jermichael Green only play 16 minutes tonight when the Clippers had a much larger team out there for most of the night and they just ate up the Warriors inside? It's absurd. The Warriors just lost another road game and you want to stay calm about it. Like everything's fine. They just squandered. You know what the record is for NBA teams when a player of theirs scores 50-plus points? 18-2. Yet the Warriors, when Stephen Curry scores 50 or more points, are 0-2 or 0-2 because he's not getting damn help out there. That's ridiculous. And Colin, who writes, yeah, part of being a fan is choosing to be positive. That's your opinion. Who are you to dictate how a fan should feel? You're describing a cheerleader more than a fan. Cheerleaders stay positive. Cheerleaders try to rally and keep going rah, even when things are going bad. That's your opinion, man. I could care less. I'm not going to sit here and stay positive. How the hell is a professional sports team ever going to be held accountable if the fans just completely are okay with every decision they make? That is the beauty of the First Amendment when it comes to sports. People can voice their grievances. People can bring up things going on that just stink to high heaven. Like these rotations, like these minutes that are just absolutely absurd. I got to give some love to another sponsor here. FanDuel. Yeah, and they got another overlay as well. Let me bust that out. I do want to talk about Draymond Green's technical foul, which was weak, might get rescinded. Still have to give love to Stephen Curry's incredible night. And I want to touch on Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole before we call it a night. First, got to talk about FanDuel. There's the overlay. So again, we're at the midway point of the NBA season, if you count the postseason. And now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to point scorers and threes drained. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
You are Locked On Warriors, your daily Golden State Warriors podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for making Locked On Warriors your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get podcasts. One final segment of the show. I got to tip my hat to Stephen Curry. His second 50-point game of the season. Unfortunately, the Warriors are now 0-2 when he scores 50 points. Steve Kerr brought him back in really early too. He brought him back in at the 8-minute and change mark. I think it was at 8:42. Let me pull that number up real quick here. And I bring that up because, again, the Warriors took a risk by expending more energy than usual. Steph, on average, has a rotation, typically, where he plays usually the full first and third quarters, and then he's brought in at around the 6-minute mark of the second and fourth quarters. Well, tonight, he came in at about the 8-minute and change mark. I have it right here. The 9:07 mark of the fourth quarter. They brought him in, and he came in for Kevon Looney, which isn't, I don't understand the aversion to size that Kerr is doing this year. It did cost him tonight, I think. But Steph, in his marvelous performance, who just a day ago turned 35 years old, played 39 minutes. I'm really sorry it took this long in the show for me to talk about Steph. He scored 20 of his 28 field goal attempts. He was 20 for 28 from the field. He was 8 for 14 from 3. Weirdly missed 2 free throws. I don't know if you folks noticed that. Missed his first free throw attempt of the night. Maybe he missed that first one because he was getting hacked so much. And the refs, I don't know what was going on with the refs tonight. Typically, home court advantage involves the refs usually being on your side a little more. I hope that's all it was. But the refs were just dropping the ball left and right. I personally counted. I was literally rewinding my recording to just literally try to have a tally. And I counted 4 blatant missed calls on Stephen Curry. Steph, I believe, had 42 points before his first free throw attempt. 42. It was either 40 or 42. Someone in the chat know that for sure. Anthony Randolph is only 33. And Retzel, did I make a Freudian slip? I forgot who I said. I'm sorry. So Steph in 39 minutes was again 8 for 14 from the field. Only had 4 free throw attempts when he should have gone to the line a lot more than that. Had 6 assists and 50 points. Second time this year. Now, where it gets sad is that the second leading scorer tonight was Jordan Poole, who actually had a solid game. And he only got 25 minutes. And I don't know if that was like a lineup thing. A lot of people have been criticizing his defense. Maybe that was a reason for him having limited minutes tonight. He only played 25 minutes tonight. Did go 6 for 11 from the field. Did go 3 for 5 from deep. He added 5 assists. He had 19 points. He was the second leading scorer. And I do feel like this is hey Jacob, Jesus Christ, you're turning into a troll. All right. No, you're being a Richard is what you're doing, Jacob, and you're disrupting the show. So you're done, man. I mean, I don't understand what you're trying to get out of like. I don't care if you disagree. You're allowed to disagree. But when I say at the beginning of the show, stop hating on Moody, a 20-year-old kid, and you keep doing it, what am I going to do, man? You're disrupting. Move on. Get over it. So I'm now going to get over you. You're done. You're officially blocked. And if anyone else wants to, bash on Moody, go ahead. Please do it now so that you can be banished from the chat. I mean, the kid is 20 years old. He's not getting enough reps to be judged. 10 minutes is ridiculous. And he could have helped on defense, man. I just do not agree with whatever your opinion is when it comes to him being a bad defender. I've already asked. Tweet at me. You can literally record your TV and find those instances where Moses Moody makes mistakes. Find those. Tweet at me. Show me the evidence. I'm watching these games. I don't see Moody making mistakes. I like the kid. It was absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous to hate on him, man. It is absurd. No, I'm not cool with that. So you're done. Jordan Poole. Well, Carla Davis. Here's why there's a difference between Moses Moody and Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome is 25. Ty Jerome is in year 4 of his NBA career. Ty Jerome, by the way, is still making first-round money. For a lot of those of you out there, for some reason, like call him a poor kid and sympathize with him, even though he's a professional athlete making millions upon millions of dollars. This is part of the territory when you're a pro athlete. You get criticized by the media if you don't play good. He's an awful defender. He's actually getting minutes. He's getting over 18 minutes a game, Carla, whereas Moody's getting DNPs, and I think he's averaging 14. And he's a two-way player. It's not Ty Jerome. Why do you take it personally? I don't want any two-way players getting the kind of run that these two have gotten this year. It's absurd. They're two-way players for a reason. And why don't you criticize Bob Myers and Joe Lacob for not giving him a guaranteed deal if you love them so much? Man, why am I the suddenly become like the person who like has to get all the scorn for the Ty Jerome criticism? He's not a good player. He's not good. Get over it. All right, I'm not going to stop criticizing him. That's just because he's not good. Neither is Anthony Lamb. Have you looked at Anthony Lamb's Santa Cruz numbers yet? It's absolutely absurd. LR, why are you calling this tyranny? Is it because of the Ty name? Yeah, Ty Jerome did not play tonight. LR, they lost a pivotal game. There's only 12 games remaining. I'm not losing it. I'm just getting very frustrated with a few of you who think that you can just bring ignorance into the chat and bring ignorance into the show, and you're dragging the show down and you're affecting me because of it, and it's annoying me. So it's on me acting different. It's me just not having someone to bounce off of. It's me watching Steve Kerr continuing to make bad decisions, and you don't like it. I don't know what else to tell you, man. I don't know what else to tell you. Yes, Mark Medina, you're absolutely right. Moody at least tries. I don't agree that he's not good. I think he's fine. There's a reason why he was a lottery pick in one of the deepest drafts one of the deepest drafts in NBA history. I mean, are you criticizing Bob Myers then for drafting him? Are you saying he made a huge mistake drafting him? I don't get it, man. Yes, I'm using the hate Angelou Roy toward the two-way players, but I'm frustrated that Steve Kerr keeps playing them. And I'm really happy that Bob Myers and Joe Lacob agree with me, because right now they're not allowed to be played because the roster's at 14. And LR, I'm not going to ignore the chat because the vast majority of the people in the chat are not trolls like you. So I'm just going to block you. There you go. There's another one. Bye-bye. All right. So Amara Singh writes they whiffed on 2 of the 3 lottery picks. Are you referring to also Wiseman? I mean, look, if you look at the numbers that Wiseman's putting up in Detroit, did they whiff? Anyway, so Dennis B writes, let's talk about Iggy's spot. There's nothing to really talk about there, simply because they're not going to waive him. He's going to stay on the roster. He's still going to take up that 13th or 14th roster spot, whatever you call that. So he's not going anywhere. So the reality of the situation is either the Warriors sign Lamb to that 15th spot, but I really feel like Kerr and Lacob feel the same way I do, which is I don't want to see him play. So right now, it just looks like this is the team you got. My personal preference is there's still free agent bigs out there. Add a big. This team needs size. And Joe, you're absolutely right. Joe writes, Iggy can return for the finals if at all. Yeah, we don't have a timetable yet for the wrist injury. So we don't know. And Ghostface Gangster, by the way, I know you're kidding, but both Ty Jerome and Anthony Lamb can't be signed. Right now, there's still only one roster spot available. So it could be Anthony Lamb. He still might get the spot. And I won't entirely hate it because they do need bodies. I don't want to see this team just run out of people to play off the bench, especially someone who can maybe at least grab some rebounds. Amar Singh writes, Lester Quinones had 46 points tonight. Wow, that's impressive. Next Level writes, wrist injuries usually take 6 to 8 weeks. The problem Femi writes is referring to Serge Ibaka. I don't think he's eligible anymore for the Golden State Warriors. Serge Ibaka, because he was a buyout player, because he was bought out so late, I think the Warriors missed a deadline to sign him if they want him to play in the postseason. And Colin, by the way, yes, the Warriors could give Lester Quinones another 10-day deal. That is possible. I want to finish up on Klay Thompson. He did not have a great game tonight. And this was the type of game where Stephen Curry needed his Robin, right? Stephen Curry puts up 50 points. Stephen Curry has one of the greatest nights of his career. I mean, when you drop a 50 burger, that's immediately going to be, in your collection of amazing games. And now Klay Thompson, unfortunately, first of all, Klay is being burdened with the task of suddenly becoming like a power forward out there. He's oftentimes battling bigs. He was defending Zubac for a lot of possessions, played 37 minutes tonight, and was okay. 6 for 16 from the field. That's not great. 3 for 8 from deep. That's okay. It's not great. Only had 3 rebounds. Only had 15 points. Dante DiVincenzo did not have a great shooting night from deep. He missed a lot of threes early on. He finished 2 for 7 from deep, 4 for 10 from the field, had 10 points, did grab 6 rebounds. But when they had the lineup out there with Steph, Poole, and DiVincenzo, that's when the Clippers went on a run. That is when the Clippers kind of just feasted. They were like, wow, there's 3 of their 5 players out there are 6'4" and below. I think we're going to go to town. It's hard to defend when the other players are much bigger than you. You're right, Joe, that Dante DiVincenzo can drive and can kick. And Dennis B, I do, and I right back at you, man. I cannot be anything but who I am as a person, right? Sometimes I'm passionate, um, but I it's the journalist in me. I cannot be fake. I cannot it's hard for me to sugarcoat things. I'm just going to tell you how it is. And when it comes to Steve Kerr, for some reason this year, and I know I'm sorry for the show going late here. I'm going to jump on with Larry Krueger in just a minute to keep this thing going with him. But Warriors media this year has just been pathetic. I mean, like, no one's asking Kerr tough questions. No one is bringing up subject matter that I feel should be brought up. It's like the people who are in that press room interviewing Kerr, they're mostly just Warriors propagandists. And look, if that's what you want, more power to you. I'm not judging you. That's just not who I am. Godgo writes, if Kerr wants Lamb and doesn't get him, I think Kerr might take it as a sign of no confidence from Lacob. Might be his last hurrah. I've been saying this on the show for a while. Steve Kerr is going to be a lame duck coach next year. Okay? NBA coaches, not only rarely, they're pretty much never lame duck coaches, let alone a head coach with Steve Kerr's pedigree. So what's going to happen after the season is fascinating. HR. That's a hater comment right there. And that's again, I'm not going to shut down the chat because I don't mind hearing this stuff. I don't mind reading hatred from you guys. But I do ask for one thing. At least back it up. At least be specific. Okay? For you to just say I have no talent at sport analysis or reporting, agree to disagree, but you're also a total a-hole. And I can't just put up with that. I can't. Again, like, if you want to be specific, be specific. If I was on this show, for example, giving you a lot of projections, or if I was telling you that the Warriors should sign someone, and then they were signing these people, and then those players are flaming out, yeah, hate on me all you want. If I'm on the show saying, stop playing the two-way guys, and they stop playing the two-way guys, and nothing changes, yeah, I'll take responsibility for that. I don't know if we're going to see that. I mean, the Clippers on the road, I don't know if that's the right barometer for this, but be more specific. That's all I ask. If you're going to hate on me, just be specific. All right, HR. I'm going way late on the show. Let's see if there's anything else. Niners Steer writes, I suck. And then mentions my former co-host name. Bye-bye. Anything else in the chat before we go? Dennis B. No, you're not going to see me Friday. You're going to see me tomorrow. I'm actually going to have Ryan Leong on the show tomorrow. He's a longtime sports journalist, but you have to be a really hardcore Bay Area sports media consumer to know who Ryan Leong is. And he's going to come on with me. This is the daily show. We do this every day. Absolutely. Black ice, I am not a big drinker. So no, I don't drink alone. That is actually a hard rule of mine. HR just still bashing me. See, and this is what happens, man. I give you a chance. And James Wiseman, by the way, could still end up being a phenomenal player. He's putting up fantastic numbers. So if you're going to call me the James Wiseman of podcast hosts, I might take that as a compliment, actually. Ken Mama writes, who could the Dubs sign from the buyout market? Again, Boogie Cousins, Dwight Howard. Some people mentioned Hassan Whiteside. I would not counter that happening. Did someone grab? I think Nerlens Noel was taken off the market. Yeah, you're right, coast to coast. But at the same time, again, I just don't want to ever give the impression, because one thing I never want is to be one of these media types that shields themselves from criticism. I don't mind reading it and hearing it. All I ask is just be specific. If I'm wrong about something, call me out on it. Fine. I'll admit when I'm wrong, but just to say it, just to be a general hater, forget that. But Klay Thompson, I just to finish up with that thought, had a pretty poor game, and would have been nice if he turned it up a little more. All right, I'm gonna go join my boy Larry Krueger. Mario Ellie. Mario Ellie was actually a good player for the Warriors when he was here. All right, I'm going to join my boy Larry Krueger. Continue the show there. For anyone asking about Andrew Wiggins, no updates on that. Again, I mentioned on the show before what I've heard. I do have connections in the Warriors and what I've heard, but again, I could put this more in the hearsay category. I'm not reporting this as fact, but my source is pretty spot on when he tells me things. And what he said is that whatever is going on with Wiseman, it doesn't have to do with him. It has to do more with someone he knows, which makes me really concerned about his children. I just hope his kids are okay. I hope his family's okay. I just hope everyone's okay. And Angela Roy and Choboy talk about Dante DiVincenzo not being good shooters on the road, or Dante DiVincenzo not being a good shooter on the road. I'll check that out. I'll definitely check that out. I'll see. I'll look into that. And yeah, Retzel. And by the way, I read everything. So thanks for the compliment for the show. It was a tough loss, man, and it just pisses me off. It absolutely pisses me off. And again, my entire thing is experiment, man. Mix things up. Keep trying try new things if what you're doing isn't working. And but I'd like to see Moody get more minutes. I'd like to see Kuminga become a consistent 25 to 30-minute player. He had 19 minutes tonight. I think JaMychal Green needs to get longer runs out there because they don't have size. And even if JaMychal Green is struggling as a three-point shooter, he still spaces the floor. That's the most important attribute of his. So if JaMychal Green is playing, at least you have size out there. It's just, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, Richard Sarpong, you're right. The Warriors wasted a 50 piece from Steph and Curry, and in the standings right now, they're now 6th. The Clippers are a full game ahead of them, and the Warriors' next opponent, I think they have the day off tomorrow. The next play, I believe, Friday. Let me look at the schedule right now. Correct. Friday, it's an early game. They're in Atlanta, which likely means the Warriors are getting on a plane tonight, going straight from LA to Atlanta. They'll probably have a light day tomorrow, maybe a shoot around. And then every one of these games is important because when you look at the standings right now, the Warriors have fallen to the 6th seed. And looking at this right now. So they're a game behind the Clippers. That was just a brutal loss. They're a game and a half behind the Suns, who have the 4th seed right now. And they're a game ahead of the Timberwolves and the Mavericks, who are just one behind the Warriors. The Oklahoma City Thunder are just a game and a half behind the Warriors, but just a game back in the loss column. And then the Los Angeles Lakers are 2 games behind the Warriors. And even the Utah Jazz and the New Orleans Pelicans are in the mix. The Pelicans and the Jazz right now are just 2.5 games behind the Warriors. And the Warriors have 4 more road games to go. I guess to finish up things, if you want to know why I was so damn passionate tonight, it's because the Warriors are facing a reality of going 0-5 on this road trip. And if that happens, if the Warriors actually go 0-5, they continue this ridiculous trend they've been on all year. If they lose 4 more games and they fall to 36-38, they might be completely out of the mix. And the Warriors right now have 12 games remaining. If I'm not mistaken, 8 of the 12 are on the road. So I'm concerned. I'm absolutely concerned. 12 games remaining on the schedule. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 games remaining on the road, 5 at home. And the first home game after this road trip are the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's that. They've always played the Warriors tough. Joel Embiid is probably the only player in the NBA that Draymond Green cannot effectively defend. He might, but Embiid also can get his easily. That's concerning. They're going to come home after the 5-game swing. They're going to play Philadelphia, Minnesota, New Orleans. They have to win all 3 of those. I could see them most likely beating Minnesota and New Orleans. Again, Philly always plays them tough. They also have a home game against San Antonio, so it's a 4-game homestand when they finish this road trip. And then it's a road game in Denver. It's a home game in Oklahoma City. And then 2 road games to finish the season at Sacramento and at Portland. Yeah, I'm freaking out, man. I'm freaking out. Retzel is confident, apparently, that they're going to be a 6 seed. Rebel the Sounds, you're confident they're going to be a top 6 seed. And Anonymous is saying people are baiting me. Maybe, but that's also why I'm officially blocking them, because if that's the case, then they're just trolls and no need to have them back. Yeah, these are tough games. So we'll see what happens. Ryan Leong will join me tomorrow. We'll break down the Warriors some more. Once I get some more sound, we have some more stats. Any news that comes down, we'll break it down tomorrow. Thank you for joining me, folks. Thank you for putting up with me if I was passionate, if my passion was overloaded for some of you. But the good news is I found who 4 new trolls were, and we got rid of them, so hopefully they won't come back. Until then, thank you, everyone. And again, I'm going to join Larry Krueger's show right now. And one last thing before we go. This was a very long show tonight. Subscribe to the Rick Barry Show on YouTube. So Rick Barry and I host a program on there. It's called the Rick Barry Show. We just had a recording. We just recorded a show, on Sunday. And Rick gave some incredible insights when it comes to why Jordan Poole is struggling. He nailed it. And the interesting thing is, right after we recorded that show, Jordan Poole's actually, the last 2 games, has been phenomenal. His shooting's great. His turnovers have gone down. So I don't. It's probably just coincidence, but nonetheless, when the Hall of Famer speaks, you listen. And so go subscribe to that show as well, please, and go check out the most recent recording we did, because Rick gets into it on why the Warriors are struggling on the road. Why, again, Jordan Poole has regressed as a shooter this year. And it's called Rick Barry's House is how you subscribe to it. It's at Rick Barry's House. Otherwise, I'm going to go join my buddy Larry right now. And Red Soul, phenomenal is a bit hyperbolic. Yeah, whatever. Well, I'll be hyperbolic when it comes to talking about my Hall of Fame compadre. Love that guy. All right, I'm out of here. I'm going to Larry Krueger's show. Join me there if you want. Thank you, everyone. And we'll be back at it tomorrow. Peace.